Hello, all the viewers. My name is Darren Schinenberger. I am from the United States of America. I'm going to take you back. I was in the auto sale business. I sold cars for a living, and I've been doing that for a while. I really like that job. I made good money doing it, and I really had no warning what was going to happen that day. I had a lot of cars out for the month. I got some bonus checks, and so I got off that night, and me and a friend of mine decided to go to the casino because I was doing good. So we went to the casino, and I hit 2 jackpots. And ironically, my friend said, "Dude, you got to be the luckiest guy in the world." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And because I just hit these 2 straight off the bat. So, and we stayed there for a few hours. We ran into some friends, and we decided we were having drinks, doing this, whatnot. And we decided to go with some of our friends down to, they had a hotel room, and we were going to go down the strip a ways to the room and stuff. Anyway, so we went there, and out of nowhere, everything was just fine. And out of nowhere, it felt like someone took a big knife and hit me right in the chest. Like I got stabbed, because when it happened, I was just like, boom, ow. And I was like, something happened, right? So what I had is what they call an aortic dissection. And only like 1% of the people survived this. And I was like, oh, and I couldn't hardly get my breath. And I was like trying to tell my friends something's wrong. Something's wrong, And at first they thought I was playing around, and I finally got a hold of my friend, and I grabbed him by his shirt, and I was like, "Get me to the damn hospital." And so he realized we were serious. So they were starting to panic, and they were all yelling 911, call 911 and stuff, because I couldn't stand up. I was like, oh God. And so I got my friend again. I was like, "You could drive me to the hospital now." So luckily the hospital is only about 2 miles away, because where we were. So he jumped in the car, and we drove. We were flying through the red lights and everything, and we got to the hospital. And when I went to get out of the hospital, my legs didn't work anymore. So I hit my head on the concrete really hard, and it was like there was a big vacuum above my mouth, because every time I tried to talk, it was like the air was coming out. I was like, and my friend's like, his eyes were, I just remember his eyes being real big. And I was like, "I'm dying." And he's like, "No, you're not. No, you're not." And then he ran inside, and then I heard him yelling, "My friend's dying out here." When I was dying, when I was they were losing me and stuff. And I remember I was crossing dimensions, and I knew that things were not right. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't in the hospital anymore. And I went to this black void, and it was really cold. Like people talk about hell and fire. What I experienced, I didn't see any fire. I didn't see Satan. I don't know why I said that. I don't remember seeing Satan. I don't remember. I just went to a dark void, and there was this negative emotion, like presence, like all the bad feelings that you could experience in life, all the negative stuff like despair and jealousy and envy and hate and worry and guilt and shame, and just anything that's negative, that it was just pushing me down. It was smashing me, and I could feel like G-force from it. And it was cold too. And there was this black magnetic goo that would drop. I could hear it all around me, just splatting on the floors and stuff. And I'm like, where the hell am I? And so the only thing I knew to say was, Jesus saved me, And right when I said that, this little spark, right here, just popped, and it went, and it just, this white light just spread out so fast, and it pushed all the darkness out, and it just circled me and grabbed me. It felt like it scooped me up. And when I tell this story, it kind of gets to me, because it was so powerful. But I remember I was like, I made it. I'm safe. I feel safe. You know, I wasn't even thinking about the hospital at that time. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just knew that I was, okay, I'm in a good spot, right? Like all that negative emotion, it was the reverse of that. Now I felt comfort, love, safety, belonging, togetherness, protection, all the good stuff. Okay, joy, and it was like breathtaking. It was so powerful, and I was like, after I started to realize I was in this white light, I was like looking around in this white light, and as I focused, I would see these other colors, right? And there was okay, so there was colors from the rainbow spectrum, but there was also colors that weren't in that spectrum, and I can't ever tell nobody what they look like because I don't know what to compare them to. So if you never saw, okay, so I tell people, how would you explain the color green to a person that's never been able to see, to a blind person? How do you explain that? You know, how would you explain it? I can't really explain these colors. They were beautiful and very vibrant, I'll tell you that. And as I focused on these colors, I realized that they had faces and they were people. And everybody was like, and they kind of had humanly figures, you know, but they were like moving and blending. And I realized, I'm like, these are people, and I know I didn't recognize anybody, but I felt like I knew everybody, you know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like it's like I was with my tribe. Like I'd come home to where I was supposed to be. And I remember making eye contact even with these people. And oh my gosh, here's the thing, they were all so beautiful. Every single one of them was beautiful, but they weren't like carbon copies of each other. Everybody was a different beauty, but it was all the same level. There was no, oh, he's prettier, she's prettier. You couldn't see that. It was just beautiful. And I was like, whoa. And that was so overwhelming. And I felt like, okay, this is good. This is what I want. This is safe. I'm good. I just remember feeling like relief. And about that time, come from the light, stood right next to me was this other white light silhouette person that was a lot taller than me. And I'm a tall man. I'm like 6'5". It was a lot taller than me. And I remember looking up at it, and I couldn't see a face or anything. It was just this presence. And as soon as it stood next to me, my I don't know if it was my life or my son's life, but my son's life went past me in my brain. And I was like, wait, I can't go yet. No, please don't let me go yet. Let me go. I gotta go back, you know. And boom, from there I kind of came back. Now I as soon as I asked that, I went into a worm tunnel, and then I came back. But there was a couple things that happened that were really strange at the time too, before I came out of my coma. And you know, I know I was on, you know, anesthesia and stuff. So there's like these drug dreams that didn't make sense, that were kind of all over the place. But what I'm telling you is before I was under the knife and stuff. But and this is really weird. So I worm tunnel, and I ended up being in this apartment. I was just like, boom, in this apartment. And there was a guy there, and he was in a white t-shirt and blue jeans, and he was folding up his laundry and putting it in a suitcase. And I was like looking at all the furniture, and I was like, all this furniture looked like really old, like from the 50s or something, you know. And I was like, where am I? And right then I heard my dad's voice, and he said, well, Darren, you did it again. And I was like, Dad? And it was my dad, and he was really young. And he turned around and he said, when are you going to stop scaring the crap out of your mother with your behavior? Because I was kind of a wild kid when growing up, okay? And he said, when are you going to stop doing this to your mother? And I was like, oh, I know, man, I'm sorry. And then he said, I'll tell you why you keep doing this, because Darren does what he wants to do and he doesn't worry about consequences. And then he pointed at me and he said, now you're going to go back and you're going to take care of that boy and be the man I taught you to be. Now your dad's got to go. And he shut the suitcase and he left. And then I worm tunneled again. Okay. And I'm going to tell you that part there because it is important. And so then I worm tunneled again, and I woke up to my mom's face asking me do you know what happened to me? I'm like, I thought I was in trouble. I didn't know where I was at and stuff, but it was kind of funny. But I brought that last part up because when I talked to my mom about it later, I told her the apartment I went at, and it was I knew that it was somewhere downtown Kansas City, and I described the apartment to her because it was an old house that had an apartment on this side and an apartment on this side. And you walked in the front doors and you went up these flights. There was 2 up there, 2 down here, and then there probably were two in the back, but I wasn't sure. And it was on the left. If you're facing the building, it was on the lower left side of the apartment. So come to find out, I described the exact apartment that my dad was living in with his buddy before he got drafted to the Army and married and met my mom. That's where he was living when he met. I never knew that until I never knew where he lived. I just knew they met at a skating rink, but I didn't know that I didn't know any of this. So that blew her away. She would start crying, and I was just like, wow. And so that's kind of that's kind of my story in a nutshell, kind of fast. When I came out of it, though, I realized that those people that I saw with the colors, that is our inner beauty. That unfortunately the world condemns, and the world lies to us, to people, and you can start beating yourself up and not letting that inner light shine. That's the light the Creator God intended us to live and be. That's the true image of God that was out. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And we kind of pollute it with all this nonsense, and it gets tainted and ugly. And there's an enemy out there that doesn't want us, that wants to pull us away from God, I believe. And that is it's the negativity of the world, and that like a lot of sin is self-indulgence. Okay. So that was my testimony to all you viewers. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I will periodically check them, and I will answer any questions you have. And I am flattered to be on your show. And thank you very much for even having the interest to listen to my story. I believe it's part of my reason I need to put this out. I'm supposed to do this, share this story. So, and I love you all, and thank you very much.